and welcome to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations and I'm Nova, and today I am going to be showing you how to turn your gnome into a flower cap gnome. So this is going to be a modification video for my super beginner friendly gnome tutorial that I already have a playlist for. It's a couple of videos where I go really step by step and break it all down for you. I will have that linked in the description box in case you came to this video first, but I actually am making this as a modification option for that gnome. You'll follow all the rest of the normal tutorial, but instead of making the hat in that tutorial, you can go and make yourself a little flower hat. So if you have already been working on that tutorial, then you will already have the parts of the gnome that you're going to need other than the hat and be on the hat step, and you will be ready to jump into making this little flower cap, which looks like this. All you're going to need is your crochet hook, whatever size you have been using for the rest of your gnome. I'm using a 3.5 along with a worsted weight yarn. You can use any worsted weight or, you know, like I said, you can always customize these gnomes and use any size yarn and hook you want to. You're going to also want some scissors and a stitch marker. All right, so we will jump right in and begin. We're going to start off by making a magic circle. If you've been working on the other parts of my tutorials, then you will know that I have a video just for the magic circle if you need a little help with that, just so that I don't have to walk you guys through really slowly how to make a magic circle every time for every part. And I will have that linked in the description box below. But once you've got your magic circle, we are just going to work 6 single crochets into the magic circle. Now remember, when you're working them into the circle, you want to work over the side of your circle, but also that tail, because that's how we're going to close it up. So you're just going to work 6 single crochets into that magic circle. And once you've got your 6 single crochets, you are going to get that tail that we've been working over, and you can always stop and count them if you'd like to. You're going to get that tail that we've been working over and just gently pull it shut. Don't shut it all the way. Don't pull it super tight because we want to be able to work into that first single crochet we made. And sometimes if you pull it too tightly, you won't be able to get into that stitch. So go ahead and work into that stitch and make a single crochet, and then work into that same stitch and make another single crochet. And then go ahead and pop your stitch marker into that first stitch we made. This is called an increase stitch when you work 2 stitches into the same one. So we are actually going to go ahead and pull on our tail now to tighten this circle up. Go ahead and close it up. You can pull on it as tightly as you want to now. You're not, worried about getting into that first stitch anymore. Once you've got that closed up, we are just going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around. So you had 6 single crochets. At the end of this round, you will have 12 because we're working an increase stitch into each single crochet, which just means we're working 2 single crochets into every single crochet. You'll know that you have made your way all the way around when you get back to that stitch marker. For the entirety of this tutorial, the stitch marker goes into the first stitch, and then when you've made your way around back to that stitch marker, you know that you are on the last stitch of the round. So you can always at any point stop and do stitch count checks if you'd like to. Like, I'll tell you how many stitches you should have. You can go back and count them if you'd like to. And of course, don't forget, you can always adjust the playback speed of this video. There is a little gear icon on your screen, and if you click that, you can make it go quicker, you can make it go slower, and of course, you can always rewind and, navigate around. All right, so once you have done 2 single crochets into each stitch around, you will have 12 single crochets. Now we're going to go ahead and pop that stitch marker out, and we are going to work 1 single crochet into that first stitch. Then we're going to replace our stitch marker so that we know that this is our first stitch, and we're going to work an increase stitch into this second stitch. So in this second single crochet, we are actually working 2 single crochets. And that is just going to be the repeat for the round. We're working 1 single crochet in one stitch and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, all the way around. That's going to take us from 12 stitches to 18 stitches all the way around. So when you get to that stitch marker, you should have 18 stitches And that last stitch that you work into is going to be an increase stitch. So you'll know that you're on the right path if you're ending with an increase, which, just a reminder again, that is when you have 2 single crochets into that 1 stitch. So now that you're getting back to your stitch marker, you should have 18 stitches all the way around. You're welcome to count them if you'd like to. If you end on an increase, you probably don't need to, honestly. I don't typically. All right, so for this next round, we're going to pop out our stitch marker. We're going to single crochet, and then we're going to throw our stitch marker back into that stitch so that we'll know that is the first stitch of the round. And then we're going to place another single crochet. Next, we are going to place an increase stitch. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And this is going to be the repeat for this round. So you're going to do a single crochet, and then an increase. And you're just going to do that all the way around. 2 single crochets and then an increase stitch. That's going to take you from 18 stitches to 24. So when you get back to that stitch marker, you should be ending on an increase stitch again, and you should have 24 stitches all the way around. All right, and now that we're back to that stitch marker, we're ending here on an increase, and we have 24 stitches. We are going to go ahead and pop that stitch marker out and move on to the next round. You're going to place a single crochet and then replace your stitch marker. And for this round, we are going to do a repeat of 3 single crochets and then an increase. So go ahead and place that second one and then that third one. These are all 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then for this next one, you put your 2 single crochets in that same stitch because it's an increase. So that is the repeat for this round. Just do 3 single crochets and then an increase. And you will have 30 stitches all the way around when you get back to your stitch marker. All right, and now that you have your 30 stitches around, we are going to just be doing some single crochets. So go ahead and pop out your stitch marker. Go ahead and throw your single crochet into that next stitch and then replace your stitch marker. And you're going to be just single crocheting 30, which is a single crochet in every stitch all the way around. We're going to do that for 3 rounds. A round is from the first stitch all the way around till you get back to that stitch marker. And like I said, you will have 30 stitches, so you're going to be doing 30 single crochets. And you're just going to repeat that 3 times. So finish up this one, do it once more, and then once more for that 3rd time. Once you have done 3 rounds of single crochets, go ahead and meet me back, and I'll let you know what to do next. And now that you have finished up those 3 rounds of single crochets, your work should be looking a little something like this. As your work is cupping up, make sure that you direct it so that that magic circle tail is on the inside of your work. That is going to be the inside of your stitches. You can just kind of tuck it in there for now if you'd like to, or if you would like to, you can stop and weave it in so that you can just cut it either way. Now you can go ahead and pop out that stitch marker and place a single crochet and then replace your stitch marker. We are going to be doing 4 single crochets and then an increase. So that was our first one. Here's our second single crochet, our third one, and our fourth one. Then we're going to place an increase in the next stitch, which is our 2 single crochets in that same stitch. And this is going to be the repeat for this round. So you're just going to place 4 single crochets and then an increase. And you're going to repeat that until you get back to your stitch marker. Your last stitch of the round will be an increase again, and you will have 36 stitches all the way around. And now that we've made it back to our stitch marker, we should have 36 stitches all the way around. We can go ahead and pop that stitch marker out, and we are just going to do some more single crochets. So go ahead and single crochet. Make sure you replace your stitch marker. I did a couple single crochets this time and then went and put it into that first stitch. But we are going to be doing 3 rounds again of single crochets. This time it's going to be 36 single crochets around. So 36 single crochets, that'll get you back to your stitch marker. 36 single crochets, that'll get you back to your stitch marker again. And 36 single crochets, that will get you back to your stitch marker for that 3rd time. So go ahead and do 3 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back and we will continue. Okay guys, now that you have done your 3 rounds of single crochets, we are going to get back together here and we are going to place our first stitch and replace our stitch marker. We're going to do 5 single crochets this time and then an increase. So you're going to place your second one, your third one, your 4th single crochet, and your 5th single crochet. Then you're going to place an increase into this next stitch. And this is going to be the repeat for this round. You're going to do 5 single crochets and then an increase. 5 single crochets and then an increase. And this round is going to take you from 36 stitches to 42 stitches. And you should be ending on an increase. Now that you have finished your 5 single crochet increase repeat, we are going to start our next round. So go ahead and place that first stitch and throw your stitch marker into it. I went ahead and just placed 2. Either way. This round we are going to do 6 single crochets and then an increase, and that is going to be our repeat. So go ahead and place 6 single crochets, and then in that 7th stitch after your 6 single crochets, you'll place 2 stitches in the same stitch, which is your increase. And you're going to repeat that all the way around, just 6 single crochets, increase. You'll end on an increase and you will have 48 stitches all the way around. All right, and now that you have your 48 stitches, you're ending on an increase, we are going to just do some single crochets. So we're going to do 2 rounds of single crochets. We're going to have 48 stitches in each round. So 48 single crochets, that'll bring you back to your stitch marker, and then 48 single crochets again, and that will bring you back to your stitch marker. And then we're going to do some interesting stuff to work up our petals. So you're getting pretty close to being done with your hat. And I will walk you through the interesting stuff that we do for our petals here shortly. So go ahead and meet me back once you have these 2 rounds of single crochets all completed. So we are going to get some fanciness going on now to do our petals. Just a reminder that if you need to slow things down or rewind, then you are always more than welcome to do that. And the settings icon looks like a little gear in the corner of your screen. You just click that and click playback speed. So for our round now, we are going to work in the front loops only, which is this loop right here. Normally you work under both of them when you're working your stitches, but for front loop only, we only work under the front loop, which is that loop closest to the outside. So go ahead and place a single crochet and then throw your stitch marker in there. And we are going to place a single crochet into the second one. We're doing front loop only for this one. We're doing front loop only for this whole round. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit just to make sure you can see what I'm doing. But we are doing a half double crochet into this next front loop only. If you don't know what a half double crochet is, you yarn over your hook, go through and pull up a loop. And then you'll have 3 loops on your hook and you yarn over your hook and you go through all 3. And that is how you do a half double crochet. So you just go through all 3 of those. In this same stitch, in this same front loop, we are going to work a double crochet, which is yarning over, going through, and yarning over and pulling up that loop. And then this time you yarn over and you pull through 2. And then you yarn over again and you pull through 2 again. After that, we are going to go to our next front loop only, and we are going to do what's called a triple crochet, which is where you actually wrap around your hook twice before going through, and then you do it basically the same as the double crochet, but this time you're going to actually yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again. So That means that you wrap around your hook twice, go through that front loop only, grab that yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then you yarn over and pull through 2. And you're actually going to put 2 triple crochets into the same stitch. So these are going to be nice tall stitches. Feel free to rewind if you need to see that again. This next stitch, we are going to do a double crochet. So you yarn over your hook, go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then you're just going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch. And that is going to be the repeat for this round. So I will pop it up on the screen just in case you like to read patterns, if you find that to be a little bit helpful. Because I know this is a little bit, more complex than what we've done previously in this beginner-friendly gnome. But feel free to rewind that and watch that again if you need to. The repeat is going to be 2 single crochets, then in 1 stitch, all front loop onlys, in 1 stitch, a half double and a double. Then in the next stitch, in 1 stitch, 2 triples, and then in the next stitch, a double crochet and a half double crochet. And you're just going to repeat this around until you have 9 petals, which is, you're going to repeat it all the way around until you just have 4 stitches remaining in this round. And then I will meet you back and we will go over the next round. All right, guys, so you should be meeting me back here when you have 9 petals. You should have 4 stitches left that are unworked in this round. Don't forget that you should be working in the front loops only. That's really important because we are actually about to work into those back loop onlys. So in these last 4 stitches, we're going to do basically the same repeat, but because we are 1 stitch short, we are actually just going to do 1 single crochet. Instead of doing 2 right now like we would for the rest of it, we're just going to do 1. So you are doing a single crochet, and then in the next stitch, you're doing a half double crochet and a double crochet. Then in that next stitch, you'll do 2 triple crochets, which is what I'm doing right now. And then in the final stitch of the round, you'll just do the double crochet and the half double crochet. So like I said, same that we've been doing for all the other petals, we're just doing 1 less single crochet. All right, so now that you have finished the round, you are back to your stitch marker. We are going to be working in the back loops of this round that we just did. So if you look on the inside, you'll see this really pretty ridge. Those are actually all of your unworked back loops. So you're just going to find that first back loop. Here I am showing you guys all the way around, and then boom, that's your first one. You're going to find that first back loop, and you are going to work into that. So that's going to be your new first stitch of the round. And here I am showing you, they're really easy to get into, just that. Make sure that your yarn is on the right side of your hook for crocheting, like it's not right here when I was showing you guys. So I had to flip it over, move it over to the right hand side for me. But then you're just going to place a single crochet. So this round is going to be really simple. You're just going to be doing back loop only because that's the only loop there is. You're going to want to place that stitch marker into that first stitch since that is now your first stitch of the round. We're just going to be doing back loop only single crochets for 7 stitches and then doing an increase. And that's going to be the repeat for the round. You just happen to be working in back loops. And like I said, they're really easy to see, really easy to work into. You should have a nice ridge here that you can very easily see and grab onto those stitches. So work your 7 single crochets and then an increase and repeat that all the way around. That is going to take you to 54 stitches. So when you get back to your stitch marker, this little back loop only round will have 54 stitches, and we will be ready to move on to the last round of our project, of our hat. All right, now that you've made it back to your stitch marker, you will have 54 stitches. We are going to be doing something really similar to what we did for the last round with our petals, but this time we're just going to work in the whole stitch. We're not going to work in the back loop onlys or the front loop onlys or anything like that. We're just going to work into that stitch that we have our stitch marker in currently, so go ahead and pop that out. You are going to want to do a single crochet into that stitch, and then we'll replace our stitch marker. Like I said, you're going to be doing it in the whole stitch, so you're working through both of the loops this time, just your normal single crochet into that first stitch. So this round, we're going to do a repeat of single crochet, 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, 2 triple crochets in 1 stitch, and then 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. That's going to be the repeat all the way around. I will pop it up on the screen for you. But I have shown you how to do those stitches, so I'm not going to slow it down and show you again how to do those stitches. Hopefully you know how to do them, or you can rewind if you need, a little bit of extra help with it. But the repeat is single crochet in the 1 stitch, and then the next stitch has 2 double crochets. The third stitch has 2 triple crochets, sorry. And then that 4th stitch will have 2 double crochets, as is shown on the screen. So go ahead and do that repeat all the way around until you get to the end where you don't have enough room to continue doing it. When you don't have enough stitches to continue doing it, then meet me back and I will tell you what to do. We're at the end of the hat. We're finishing it up. Okay, and as you've made your way around, it should be looking like this, nice and flowery. These last few stitches here, we are just going to actually pop out our stitch marker, even though we're not at our stitch marker yet. We're just going to place a couple of slip stitches. So go ahead and get to that next stitch, and you're just going to pop your hook through and pull up a loop, and then pull it right through. And we're just going to do a couple of slip stitches, and then we can chain 1. So wrap over your hook and pull through, and then we are done. We can cut our yarn. You can leave yourself a nice long tail if you would like to be able to sew with it, or you can cut it shorter if you are planning on gluing your hat on, or having it be removable or anything like that. So then you have finished your hat, and here is what it looks like. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. If you would like to share your gnome for Gnome of the Month, which is a segment on my channel that we do every month where I share my gnome and your guys' gnomes that you have made this month, make sure that you check out my channel. You can find more info about that, but also my email is in the description box below this video. And you are free to send me an email with pictures of your gnome if you would like to, and I can put them into our Gnome of the Month montage when I put it together. Also, I would just love to see how your gnomes come out, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you guys around on the next video. You are now ready to move on to the next part of your beginner-friendly gnome tutorial. I will link some of them here at the end of the video, as well as in the description box below.